I'm going to give y'all a little history lesson real quick here. In the late 1700s, early 1700s, France was in a very bad place. It was right before the French Revolution. The ruler was, I can't remember his name right now. Marie Antoinette was his wife. They were young. They had all these progressive ideas that they wanted to do that were going to cost more money from a country that was already in deep, deep debt. The government was slaughtering people when they didn't agree with what they said. The farmers were starving because if they didn't do what they were told, the government would set their fields on fire. The people were literally starving to death. They didn't have anything to eat. At the same time, because he had such a progressive mind, the ruler at that time wanted the Americas on his side. And we were embroiled in the War of Independence at that time with England. And he thought that if he helped America win that he would have America as an ally against England. Because if you studied history at all, England and France fought each other from the beginning, all the way back. They fought each other for control. Now there's an Americas over there that England first had, and now they've decided that they want to do their own thing. Well, France decides that's a good idea. Then we will have them on our side. We'll have trade with them. So they're sending us huge amounts of money and artillery and things to fight the English, even though they themselves were going bankrupt. And when it's debatable about whether she said it or not, the French people did not like Marie Antoinette. She looked down on them. Even though the movie that Kirsten Dunst plays in, she plays a wonderful Antoinette, but that's not actually factual documentary style movie. She was very condescending. She liked spending money. She liked throwing lavish parties. Well, the French people were starving. And when I say the French people were starving, they were starving. They didn't have bread. And when they made an outcry that they didn't have bread, she frivolously said, let them eat cake. I don't see what the problem is. If they don't have bread, let them eat cake. Okay, fast forward to America right now. The American citizen does not have representation in Washington. And if you're a Democrat and you think that you've just elected a Democrat president and Senate and Congress that has your best interest at heart, darling, you're being very naive. There is nothing about Washington politics that has anything to do with the welfare of the American people. None. It's a battle for control in Washington, as well as large corporations. If you think they give two shits in the wind about climate change, you're so naive. They don't care about climate change. What they see is the ability to make money off of it, the ability to appropriate billions of dollars to it, at the same time creating corporations over here that they own, that they will receive the billions of dollars that they are appropriating. And that happens on both sides of the fence. That's not a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. That's a Washington politics thing. There is one group in Washington. One. Now, they each take their turn as to who is the bad guy. And they collectively decided Trump was bad. So he had to go. Even now, even though President Biden is now president and they can't do anything but go after President Trump. Okay? On President Biden on his first day, 1, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. That destroyed our relationship with Canada. 2, as well as destroyed jobs. 2, he shut off all oil and drilling permits for federal lands. That sounds like that doesn't apply to very many people, but if you research it, there are no fewer than 9 American Indian tribes that this was their source of income. That was their source of income on their land. And he's totally denied that now, putting the American Indians one more time in the position that the federal government did not do what they said they would do. They don't care. It's all about money. If we can shut down the drilling, then we can push forward our climate change agenda. That said, I think we are doing our planet a big injustice with that style of drilling. Just so you know, Debbie 2 and 10 on it. I think we should be doing a much better job with our planet. That's me. And I have nothing to gain financially by saying that. Third thing he did, if you are an American woman at this time, what he signed next should just really make your blood boil. He eliminated the executive order that allowed girls to compete against girls in girl sports. Now, all a guy that can't compete in boys' sports has to do is say he identifies as a girl or as a female, and he will now be allowed to compete in a girl's sport. Okay. Female DNA, male DNA. There's not a damn thing you can do with that. It's biology. You can tell me you can change from a female to a male all you want. You cannot change from a female to a male. You cannot change from a male to a female. You cannot. You can have your parts removed. You can have parts added, but you cannot change the DNA of a female to a male. You cannot change the DNA from a male to a female. You can argue until the cows come home. You cannot do that. Now, if you feel you are a man trapped in a woman's body and you want to be a female and you want to... I don't care. If you're a female and you feel better dressing as a man and identifying a man, go for it. I don't care. But you cannot stand here and tell me that you're a man when you're a woman. That is biology. I have friends that I'm sure they identify more as a man than they do a woman. That doesn't mean you're a man. And with one stroke of a pen, he eliminated these young girls that are fighting so hard for scholarships and to be the best at what they do. He eliminated it. No longer will you be able to go in a restroom that has woman on it and feel secure that there will only be women in that bathroom. That's gone. Oh, I got somebody text message me. Whatever. The next thing. If you are in the United States and you are diabetic, Trump made a way that you would be able to get insulin at an affordable rate. Some places you can get it for free. If you have allergies like I do, you could get an EpiPen that didn't cost $800. You could get a diabetic pen that didn't cost $800. President Biden did away with all of that. And you think these corporations are going to care? That cost is going right back up there. And when his press secretary stood out there and when she was asked, what are these people going to do that are being put out of job? She said, let them get another job. Remember the story I told you in the beginning? When they asked Marie Antoinette, what were the people supposed to do with bread? And she said, let them eat cake. When they asked President Biden's press secretary, what are these people supposed to do with jobs? Let them get another job. And then, with perfect timing that could not have been orchestrated any better, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden walked out to the military that had been guarding them to assure they had a good party. In the same way, in 1786, the military guarded Marie Antoinette in all of her parties. When the military was made to sleep in the basement, no heat, in the basement, while Bernie Sanders sit up there wrapped in his designer coat so he can stay warm, our military was down there. And what did Jill Biden do? She brought them cookies. Now, you can say what you want, but you cannot argue with what I just said at all. There was not one part of what I just said that is not factual, that is false, that is misleading. And I'm sure Facebook's fact checkers will try to find it. But I'm also sure they'll shut my video down.